The village of Udu was a peaceful place nestled deep within the heart of the forest. Surrounded by towering trees and lush greenery, the people of Udu lived simple, harmonious lives. They thrived on the land, fishing from the river, farming their crops, and practicing ancient traditions that had been passed down through generations. They believed in the spirits of nature and paid homage to their ancestors, offering sacrifices to keep the balance between the physical and the spiritual worlds. However, the peace in Udu came with a price. The villagers knew they lived in the shadow of the Forest of Whispers, a dark, forbidding part of the woods where no one dared enter. Legends told of malevolent spirits, witches and demons that roamed the forest, searching for victims to curse or devour. Elders warned children from a young age that straying too close to the forest edge could bring untold calamity upon the village. Among the villagers was Adanna, the daughter of the village chief, known for her beauty and intelligence. Her eyes sparkled like the evening stars, and her laughter was like the sweet melody of birds at dawn. Many suitors sought her hand, from neighboring villages and even among her people, but Adanna remained uninterested. She often said that she wouldn't marry unless she felt a true connection, a deep bond, something she believed had not yet presented itself. One day, a stranger arrived in Udu. He was tall, with the skin of the color of rich mahogany and eyes that gleamed with an unnatural brightness. His name was Nana, and he carried with him an air of mystery. No one knew where he had come from, but he claimed to be a wanderer who had traveled far and wide, learning the ways of many lands. The women of Udu were enchanted by his charm, and the men admired his strength and wisdom. It wasn't long before Nana caught Adanna's eyes, and the two began spending time together. Nana was everything Adanna had ever wanted: charming, intelligent, and mysterious. His stories of distant lands fascinated her, and his strength seemed to be unmatched. The entire village watched as Adanna grew closer to Nana, her heart softening toward him with each passing day. Soon, it became clear that she had fallen deeply in love. The village elders, however, were not so easily swayed. Chief Onu, Adanna's father, summoned Nana one evening to speak with him. "You have come into our village, a stranger, and now you seek to marry my daughter," the chief began. "But I know nothing of your past, nor of your people. Tell me, Nana, who are you truly?" Nana bowed respectfully before the chief. "I am but a humble wanderer, seeking a place to call home," he replied smoothly. "I have traveled far, seen many things, but my heart has found peace in your village, with your daughter. I wish only to make her happy and protect her with all my strength." Though his words were kind, something in Nana's eyes unsettled Chief Onu. The chief felt a coldness, a sense of something darker lurking beneath the surface. But Adanna was smitten, and her love for Nana was undeniable. Despite his reservations, Chief Onu reluctantly gave blessing for the two to wed. The village rejoiced at the news. The wedding was a grand affair, with music, dancing, and feasting that lasted for days. Adanna wore a dress woven from the finest silks, and Nana stood proudly by her side, a smile on his face as he vowed to love her for eternity. As they exchanged vows beneath the ancient tree that stood at the village center, the entire village cheered for the union. But beneath the surface, something sinister was brewing. In the weeks that followed the wedding, strange occurrences began to plague Udu. Livestock started dying without explanation. their bodies found mutilated in the fields. The crops, which had always grown bountifully, began to wither and die. The river that once ran clear and pure became murky and foul-smelling, its waters unsuitable for drinking or washing. At first, the villagers dismissed these events as natural misfortunes, but as the strange happenings continued, whispers of curses and dark magic began to spread. The elders consulted the village oracle seeking answers, but the oracle's visions were clouded by darkness. "There is a presence in our village," she warned, her voice trembling with fear. "A darkness that was invited, a demon in disguise. We are no longer safe." As the village descended into fear and confusion, Adana noticed a change in Nlana. He had become distant, often disappearing for hours at a time without any explanation. When she asked where he had been, he would smile and say, "I'm taking care of things." But his eyes, once full of warmth, now gleamed with a cold, unsettling light. Adana tried to dismiss her unease, telling herself that Nana was simply busy, but deep down she knew something was wrong. One night, unable to shake her growing suspicion, Adana followed Nana into the forest. She watched as he ventured deeper and deeper into the woods, moving with a strange, otherworldly grace. He walked until he reached the edge of the forest of whispers, the very place the villagers had always feared. Adana's heart pounded in her chest as she hid behind a tree, watching Nana stand before the entrance to the forbidden woods. What she saw next sent a chill down her spine. Nana raised his arms, and the shadows around him began to writhe and twist as if alive. His body shimmered and transformed, his handsome features melting away to reveal something hideous. His skin turned a sickly grey, his eyes glowing red, and his once human form became monstrous. Twisted horns protruded from his head and sharp claws replaced his hands. Adana stifled a gasp, her mind reeling with shock and terror. The man she had married was not human, he was a demon, a creature of darkness that had deceived her and the entire village. But as she stood frozen in fear, the demon turned its gaze towards her hiding place. It had sensed her presence. "Adana," the creature hissed, his voice no longer that of a man she had loved, but a deep, guttural growl. "You should have not followed me." Before she could react, the demon lunged toward her with lightning speed. Adana screamed, her heart pounding as she turned and ran back toward the village, her mind racing with a horrific revelation. She had married a demon, and now the entire village was in grave danger. Adana ran as fast as her legs could carry her, her heart thundering in her chest. The forest loomed ominously around her, its once familiar paths now shrouded in an eerie darkness. Every step felt heavier, as if the forest itself was conspiring against her, slowing her down, urging her to stop. But she couldn't stop. She had to reach the village before it was too late. As she neared the village, the first signs of danger became clear. The usually peaceful atmosphere of Udu had changed. There was an oppressive stillness in the air, as if the land itself was holding its breath. The village bonfire, which had usually burned bright every night, was now nothing but smoldering embers. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it a faint, unsettling hum. Bursting into her father's compound, Adana found Chivono in his hut, deep in discussion with the village elders. The look on his face when he saw her, wild-eyed, disheveled and panting from the run, shifted from concern to fear. "What has happened, Adana?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. She tried to speak, but the words caught in her throat. How could she tell him? How could she explain that the man she had fallen in love with, the man she had married, was not a man at all, but a demon? The weight of her guilt pressed down on her as she struggled to find the words. Finally, she managed to choke out, "Father, Lana is not who he says he is. He's a demon. I saw him transform in the forest." The elders gasped in horror, their eyes wide with disbelief. Chief Onu's face paled, but he remained silent, as if processing the impossible revelation. "Are you certain, Adana?" one of the elders asked, cautiously. "The man we all welcomed into our village, the man we trusted to marry our chief's daughter, is a demon?" "Yes," Adana replied, her voice shaking. "I saw him with my own eyes. He was performing some kind of dark ritual at the edge of the forest of whispers. His true form, it was monstrous." The room fell in a stunned silence, the weight of her words sinking in. If Nana was truly a demon, then the strange events that had plagued the village, the dying livestock, the withering crops, the tainted river, were all part of his doing. The village had been cursed the moment Adana had married him, and now they were all paying the price. Chief Ondo rose to his feet, his expression hardening as he turned to the elders. "We must act quickly," he said firmly. "If Adana says this is the situation, then this demon has infiltrated our village, and we must rid ourselves of him before it is too late." "But how?" one of the elders asked, fear lacing his voice. "We have never dealt with such a powerful being before. We are no match for a demon." The oracle, who had been sitting quietly in the corner of the room, suddenly spoke up. Her voice was low and grave, her eyes distant, as if she were looking into another world. "There is a way," she said, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. "But the price will be great." "What must we do?" Chief Ono asked, his voice heavy with determination. The oracle's eyes flickered toward Adana, and in that moment a chill ran down her spine. "The demon has bound himself to your daughter through marriage," the oracle explained. "It is through her that he draws his power. If we are to banish him, we must sever that bond. But doing so will come at a terrible cost." "What cost?" Adana whispered, dreading the answer. "The bond between a demon and his bride is not easily broken," the oracle said softly. "To sever it, Adana must willingly give up her life. Her sacrifice is the only way to free the village from the demon's curse." The room fell into a stunned silence once more, the weight of the oracle's words hanging in the air like a dark cloud. Chief Ono's face twisted in anguish as he looked at his daughter, torn between his duty to his people and his love for his only child. "No," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "There must be another way. I will not sacrifice my daughter." "There is no other way," the oracle replied, her voice steady but sorrowful. "If the bond remains, the demon will grow stronger, and the village will be consumed by his darkness. You must decide, Chief Ono. The fate of Udu rests in your hands." Adana's heart pounded in her chest as she processed the gravity of the situation. The village, her family, everyone she had ever known, all of them were at risk because of her. She had married the demon. She had unwittingly invited him into their lives, and now they were all suffering because of it. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked at her father, her heart breaking at the thought of what she had to do. "Father," she whispered, her voice trembling, I will do it. I will make the sacrifice." "No," Chief Ono cried, his voice filled with desperation. "I cannot lose you, Adana.
You are my only child. There must be another way.
But Adanna shook her head, her resolve hardening.
There is no other way, Father. I must do this. I brought this demon into our village. I cannot let everyone suffer because of my mistake.
The elders remained silent, their faces solemn as they realized the gravity of Adanna's decision. The oracle bowed her head, acknowledging the young woman's bravery. "You are strong, Adanna," she said quietly. "Your sacrifice will save us all." As the room fell into a somber silence, Adanna felt a strange sense of peace wash over her. She was afraid, yes, but she knew what had to be done. The village needed her. Her family needed her. And if giving up her life was the only way to save them, then she would do just that. But deep within her, a flicker of defiance sparked. There had to be more to the story. Demons were creatures of trickery and deception. And if Unana had managed to disguise himself for so long, surely there were other secrets he had not revealed. As the elders began preparing the ritual that would sever the bond, Adanna made a vow to herself. She would confront the demon one last time. She would demand answers, and perhaps in his arrogance, he would reveal a weakness she could exploit.